All right, so it's been one eventful year for Manmohan and his musketeers. How do both main parties of this country evaluate the performance of this government? Like we said, two very special guests, Sachin, Pilot and Panda. Thanks very much for joining us, both of you gentlemen. Let me start off by asking you. Accusation number one, which the opposition had against this government, was it was full of tainted ministers. Do you think?
Well, you must keep in mind that this is the first time in the history of modern India that we have people in the ministry with such serious allegations against them. And I think it's cause for us to take a deep look at the situation and do something about it. Now, we can have a debate as to when a person should not be in the cabinet. We can debate whether it's after an arraignment at the court, after charges are framed, or after many years after they have a conviction. But I don't think there can be any doubt that while this debate goes on, we urgently need to take some action to reform the system so that
we don't... If that were the case, then why didn't ministers within the erstwhile NDA government resign when they were charge-sheeted similarly in the Babri Masjid case? Let me read out those charges out to you, which are worse, if not just as bad. Those charges against Murli Manohar Joshi, L.K. Advani and Uma Bharti at that time were inciting violence, creating communal disturbance and causing a threat to national integration.
Well, first of all, I would like to point out that as an NDA ally, we operate within the NDA on a written set of guidelines. And I must point out that every time that there were similar allegations as these, corruption, ministers were made to resign. Every single time. Now, about the allegations or charges against ministers which came from an earlier time, now those ministers have made a claim that that is a political movement and it is not an allegation of...
But the law doesn't make that distinction, does it?
No, but I think
a charge is a charge.
But I think these are the kind of allegations that were also there against Pandit Nehru, against many of the freedom fighters in the beginning. And I think we need to debate where we should draw the line. But I don't think any debate is necessary that murderers and rapists and extortionists...
All right, that's a continuing debate. It's being taken up in Parliament. It's being taken up in television studios as well. Accusation number two. The opposition says your government is practicing politics of vendetta, whether it's the Fukin Commission, whether it's Arun Shourie, whether it's even a hapless Anupam Kher. You're going after anything and everything which has an NDA tag to it. Such an accusation number three. There are twin power centers in this government. Most times it's 10 Janpath which is calling the shots, not necessarily the Prime Minister's office.
You know, it's some fascination that people have, at least the media has, with Mrs. Gandhi. Earlier it was all about her foreign origins, her lack of capability of leading the party. Now, having put to rest all those accusations earlier on, now another one has come up. But I want to point out that first time in free India, we have a situation where we have a Prime Minister, talented and as respected as Dr. Manmohan Singh, heading and leading the job of governance, which the government is supposed to do. And all the politicking and managing coalitions, which most Prime Ministers were busy doing and not managing properly.
If that's the case, then why is it that 10 Janpath is briefed after every cabinet meeting?
Well, you must understand, this is a coalition government, and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi is the chairperson of the United Progressive Alliance. And obviously, to keep all the alliance partners in one, to follow the same path that we have as a government, the CMP has all his issues listed out. So I think it's absolutely perfect that Dr. Manmohan Singh focuses on governance and Mrs. Gandhi handles the politicking of the day.
Is Sonia Gandhi acting as a super Prime Minister? Is she the extra constitutional power center in this government?
Well, let me answer it this way. For any Prime Minister to be effective, he can't be just head of the administration. He must actually have authority over the parliamentary party of the MPs that support him. And quite clearly, Dr. Singh, I admire Dr. Singh a lot as a technocrat, but quite clearly, he is not the undisputed leader of the MPs that support his government.
Is he invisible like the leader of the opposition is trying to project him to be? Look, he may be not the leader of the parliamentary party, but he's definitely doing his work and give the man his credit.
He himself says that 90% of the common minimum program has not been implemented. He himself gives himself a rating of 60%, which I think far below what most people expect of a government headed by the people like Manmohan Singh ji and having people like Mr. Chidambaram in the government. Now, let me give you an example. In the last 1 year, there has been no meeting of the National Development Council, which should have been meeting at least twice a year, focusing on critical issues like the fiscal situation of the states. Don't you think that should have been done?
Accusation number four, the shadow of the left hangs heavy on this government.
Well, there are many parties in the UPA, and obviously every party has its own ideology and its own mandate, and that's why we are different parties. But we've come together